Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Today I want to share with you what I view as the best Barb build for Season 4. Some people might even say this is like a bit of a secret build because it's probably the most underrated build with all the Dust Devil shenanigans that has been going on in the PTR. But the Dust Devils has been nerfed a bit, and now we are looking here, this footage, and the thing you might have also seen in the intro is the Bash Barbarian. This revolves around a new temper affix that we have that actually makes Bash deal insane amount of damage and also hit in AoE. We also combine this, as you guys can see here, with the Pain Gonger. It's a unique that makes them spread. We're going to go over all the planners. It's also going to be linked in the description down below. It has crazy boss kill potential. Like you've seen in the intro, it melts the Uber bosses in 10 seconds. It is also very, very easy to play. You see, you're basically just left-clicking with Bash or whatever you have your Bash on. You can just left-click Bash. And this is like PTR footage here from Pit 200. So obviously, Pit 200 is going to be a lot more difficult than it used to be here. But you guys can see here that this build also has good speed potential. So in this version here, and there's many different versions, you can also play a leap version that we're going to get into. But this basic version uses triple shouts like always. So 3 shouts, just big DPS. We also have Hectic, which is going to reset the cooldowns. Those shouts, as you can see, are almost up permanently. And then we use, well, Bash is our main attack, like we just not smash, but bash the enemies. And we also use Steel Grasp to pull the enemies towards us. So we can just bash them like once and then hit them all together and basically just kill them like that. And what this Steel Grasp will also do, it's going to give you Berserking, it's going to give you vulnerability, make the enemies vulnerable, and it's also going to proc the Pain Gonger. So it's a pretty cool synergy combination. This build is also, again, here you see it, very strong against single target. And you can min-max this even further. This was not the final version by any means. And yeah, it's destroying the pit runs. And it's destroying bosses while being very, very casual friendly. So let's get into the planner and all the details here that you might need to know to be able to rock this build. Again, I think it's one of the strongest ones, and I think this footage here proves a lot of that we recorded on the PTR. So here's the planner. So there is a no Uber version here. You don't need any Uber uniques. The only unique, it's not necessary to have, but obviously it's increasing your damage by quite a lot, is these Pain Gonger gauntlets, which basically means whenever you attack with something that is not a basic skill, you are then basics, it marks the enemy, and then your basic skills basically do AoE damage and also do triple increased damage. So this one is extremely powerful, and this is also the main thing that basically differentiates all these setups here. So here we have the Steel Grasp that I already explained. This one is just amazing to proc it itself. So then we are rocking Aspect of Might here on our helm. I mean, it's a no-brainer choice, right? Like Bash is a basic skill, so we just get 20% toughness. Obviously, in the end game, you can also play a Shaco here, but Aspect of Might is basically the same DR, and you also get ranks to Steel Grasp here, which help you with your cooldown, and Shaco doesn't have this. You also have Challenging Shout cooldown reduction and crowd control duration, and this combination is crazy because, and many people don't know this, Challenging Shout's duration, like you basically Challenging Shout taunts the enemies and gives you damage reduction. But if you increase your crowd control duration here with this roll, with this temper affix, not only does it increase the taunt duration, it also increases your damage duration. So you will be able to have permanent Challenging Shout even on a single target with this roll. So you get cooldown and you get duration. It's insane. And you also have Hectic to proc even more cooldowns because, again, Bash is a generator, a basic skill, so it's just proccing your Hectic. It's been nerfed a little bit with Hectic, but it's still the strongest choice on your boots. Then we're rocking the Undying Aspect. We're also going to be attacking extremely fast. These generators, such as Bash, you can have a one-hand or two-handed setup here, but in both setups you're attacking extremely fast because you have a lot of attack speed multipliers, such as Rapid. And this basically gives you insane amounts of healing. It's basically healing you for 2% of your maximum life. And if you are below 50%, it's going to even heal you for 4%. And this will make this build extremely powerful in the pits and in high pits because it's has very good survivability, it's rather easy to play, and you have very, very good DPS. Then the Pain Gongers we already talked about. We also have another aspect here, which is the Iron Blood. This one also will give us, it's buffed on the PTR, it's going to give you 5% damage reduction per bleeding target, and we are making bleeding targets bleed. I'm going to explain it to you in the skill tree. We also have Rupture on the skill bar. And we're also getting up to 25% max damage. And ranks to bash here is very important. You can get up to, I think I had 8 ranks to bash in the PTR, and the ranks to bash increase your damage even further. Then we have the Hectic, we already talked about. And then here on the weapons, this is the new aspect here. Bash cleaves for 100% weapon damage. So this buffs the bash by a tremendous amount of weapon damage. So you're going from like, you know, hitting for 40% weapon damage, you're going up another like 200 on a two-hander. So you're actually going up to like, you know, like all over 1,000% weapon damage if you add all the 4 weapons that we can have. And this was not kept on the PTR and just resulted into the build doing insane amount of DPS. And there you're rocking a lot of attack speed. You want to get 100% attack speed from your category 1 cap. And then your category 2 cap, you can get Rupture. This one also gives you 40% attack speed in category 2. And you also get a 60% from Rapid in category 2. So you are capping category 1 and you're capping category 2. Very strong. Like you have 200% attack speed. So you are bashing like crazy. We are rocking Moonrise, we are rocking Elements, we are rocking Rapid and Inner Calm. So Inner Calm is helpful on the boss because you're standing still against the boss and just bashing it basically. In the run, you still get the 1.1 multiplier all the time. And on the boss, it's a 1.3. And then Elements is a big DPS increase. Rapid helps you with your attack speed. Then you have main stat, maximum life crit damage. And you also want to have attack speed on some weapons just so that you reach the 100% cap of attack speed. So there's 2 different buckets of attack speed. You want to reach 100% in both buckets. So 100% additive is gear attack speed, and then 100% from your aspects and skills, which is Rupture and Rapid. In other builds, you can also use the Call of the Ancients to get attack speed, but we will discuss that later in the variants. And then you have the big aspect here that goes on the Amulet now, which is the aspect of adaptability. It's going to give you a 2.2 multiplier on the Amulet here. Cooldown reduction, counter-offensive crit chance, close damage, and then we can have here Berserking cooldown reduction. This one actually should be a Steel Grasp. I was switching, like there's so many variants, so there's pretty cool things. Then we are rocking Bolt's Chieftain, and we are rocking Edge Master here. This Bolt's Chieftain helps you with your perma-shards in together with Hectic. And Brawling cooldown or Warcry cooldown helps you with even more damage because Warcry gives you more DPS, and at some point you have enough Steel Grasp cooldown. So you have a bit of a choice here. You can also go with other cooldown effects here if you like. I believe there's also Rupture. But usually you don't need this. And yeah, you've seen the gameplay in the intro. It's insane. You basically keep up your shouts. You when you see an elite, you press Steel Grasp, you press Rupture once, and then you just start bashing. And let's go over the skill tree here real quick. So we want to max bash. The rune is actually not so important. This rune was bugged on the PTR. I'm not sure if they are fixing this. It didn't proc overpower. If they are fixing this, this is an excellent way to proc your Decimator Paragon node later. You can also play Battle Bash here. And you have to make a decision. You see there's two-handers, one-handed setups, and like all kinds of different setups here. So it's basically very close between a two-hand and a one-hand setup. If this build really is keeping the meta, I'm going to make a separate build guide and video explaining in depth if you should play one-hand or two-hand. I think in this setup here, you can always tell by the final glyph that I took. Okay, we didn't took any here. So this one can be played either way. Like there on the leap, you can play two-hand and one-hander. And the boss killer, I think, is also playing two-hander. So for now, I recommend playing with two-hander because you get these extra bonuses if you want. If this rune is not fixed, actually we're going to go with this one. You're getting another 10 Fury and you're like having some options here at least. The Fury, again, is not really spent, but there's also some builds that I'm cooking where you're using Tornado. But for now, you just need to know you max bash, and then the rune doesn't really matter. You can play any rune. They are both not really doing anything at the moment, because this one was bugged, and you're not spending your Fury. So you basically have 5 points in bash, and this one here you get your Fortify from. Then you don't need anything here. You're not playing a core skill. Defensive, Rallying Cry. Again, more Fortify here. Then Outburst and Tough as Nails. This one is proccing your Bleed that you need for Iron Blood Warrior. And then you're proccing 2 points in Channeling Shot. You don't need the last upgrade because you don't have Thorns and you don't need Fury. So just these two. Then Warcry with Berserking and Multiplier Duration, Berserking Damage Reduction. We have No Mercy for max crit. We want to reach close to 100 crit. And we are also using a crit damage here for extra additive damage, because we're going to be critting like I think 90% of the time if you have all the crit chance rolls. Slaying Strike here for more DPS, then Rupture with the attack speed rune for more category 2. You want to reach 200% attack speed. Then you have Steel Grasp here with Berserking and Vulnerable permanently. Counter Offensive, Wallop, because you're going to be attacking with your two-handed mace. Heavy-handed, because you are a two-hander. This is also a multiplier that you don't get if you're dual-wielding one-handers. And then the Concussion for more stuns and Unconstrained. So you want to assign your bash to your two-handed mace. Paragon board is looking like this. There's many options here. So we have Exploit, Territorial, Ire. Then we're rocking Might here. Again, the two-handed setup. Then we have Undaunted for more Fortify in the Decimator board. Martial, actually, like, quick note here on Undaunted. You want to have always the damage reduction notes, because damage reduction is hard to come by. And you always have now a buffed 15% damage reduction from your Fortify. And here you're getting another 10 more damage reduction from Fortify. So really helpful. Then we have Martial to reduce cooldown of our Steel Grasp and Rupture. Blood Rage. And finally here we're rocking Revenge. Like, it's not a Thorns build, but as you are proccing your Thorns with Outburst and Tough as Nails, this one will basically result, if the fight takes more than 1 second, it's going to give you a 1.08x damage, and you're also multiplying these damage reduction nodes here with the 100% to all rare nodes. So extremely powerful still. And then there is the different options here. So I made some theory crafting, and I did not play this on the PTR, so I don't have footage, but I think I found a better version. It's basically similar, and this is going to be the pit version that I play. So you make a couple changes. You can see, again, the planner is in the description. And we are changing Rupture to Leap, and we are changing Steel Grasp to Call of the Ancients. So this version, you're basically leaping around, and your leap will trigger your Pain Gongler, because you're doing damage with it. It's also going to slow the enemies, and it's going to create earthquakes. So you have Pain Gongler proc, you have slow, and you have earthquakes, which give you DPS from earthquake aspect, and they give you toughness from Bokatos aspect. And on top of this, they give you, see where I have it, the Rumble glyph here. So they give you 1.1 multiplicative damage to crowd control damage. Again, Leap is also slowing, so we are crowd controlling them with Leap. We're getting the Rumble glyph, we're getting big DPS, double damage multiplier, and we're getting a toughness multiplier. And we're also going to get insane boss damage with this. So that is pretty much the synergy here. So you need to take the slow rune on Leap in this setup, with the lead setup. And this is probably going to be, the build that I'm going to be playing with as an opener for the pit. We will see how it's going to go. But in theory, this build is extremely strong for the pit. It has a lot of toughness, it has a lot of damage, and it's going to be very, very fast and a lot of recovery. So I'm thinking that this is going to be one of the best builds. Again, this is a two-handed build. You can also play a one-handed version. You can even play a one-handed version with the Ramalaldis, and then you scale Fury. But you're always losing an aspect, and you're also losing one of the bash rolls. So from my theory crafting, Ramalaldis was not worth it, but it was actually rather close. So there's definitely options here. There's also a pure boss killer DPS version. This is probably going to reach around 300 million effective DPS. Like, we're going to basically remove all the shout cooldown, and we're just going to get full DPS in the setup with Harlequin's Crest and just general play super offensive with Groundstorm to stagger. And I think this is going to be a very solid, or probably Barbarian's best tormented uber boss killer as well. So my friends, this build here is in the tier list here in A tier, but I sure think it has potential to rise up in the S tier. It depends a bit on the final tempering rolls. But yeah, let me know what you think about this build, and I'm definitely going to be trying this. And if it's as strong as I expect it to be, I'm sure going to make an updated build guide of this. And again, I think Barb is a great choice for the season. And I'm definitely going to be looking into all the Barb builds. We're going to have all the updates here on the channel. Probably we're going to start with Dust Devil, and then we're going to transition into this Bash Barb. It can also be played in leveling, actually. It just depends a bit if you have enough luck to get the tempering aspects. We'll see. There's certainly a few things that are not 100% clear yet. But this build is going to be giga strong, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm super happy to finally say that we have a viable generator build on this Barb. People and you from the community have asked me constantly to make a Frenzy Barb build or like, you know, a generator-based build about Lunging Strike or Bash or Flay. And I can say we finally have it. Blizzard did it. They added an affix that actually is making a generator build viable. And here it is, guys. Try it out. I hope you enjoy. And I'll see you in Season 4. GG. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.